Hello, ladies. Welcome to week 3 of our Get Ready With Me study, or Get Ready With Me series. I am, I am recovering from an upper respiratory infection, so I have not been feeling great the last few days. I'm still not feeling 100%. As you can tell, I'm all stuffy and I sound congested and nasally, but we're going to do this anyway. So I've had a lot of you ask me to be a little bit more, to show you a little bit more of my actual, the items I'm using and my, kind of like explain as I go what I'm using. So I'm going to try to do that a little better today. I really honestly did not think that anybody really cared about what I was actually doing, but apparently a lot of you were actually interested in that part. So, I guess I'm pleasantly surprised. I also had several of you who wanted to know my Sunday makeup because I mentioned I use different makeup on Sunday. So I guess I'm going to do 2 more of these after this one. One with the Sunday makeup, and then I'm going to do one more because I had a request by 3 different ladies that wanted to know my nighttime skincare routine. So we'll do one with my skincare routine for the nighttime. So we'll do that one day. So I'm going to do 2 more after this. So I honestly didn't really think that I thought, we're just tuning in for the devotion, but I really didn't really expect everybody to be actually interested in what I was actually using. So it's nothing extravagant. I am a pretty simple girl. I like the affordable things in life. I like some nice things, but when you're on a budget, you're on a budget. So, and when you're in ministry, you're definitely on a budget. So, so I am on a budget, but I will share with you what I'm actually using and the order that I use it in. I do have a couple items that I generally use that I have not had with me the whole time. I usually have a concealer I use, and I have this under eye primer that I generally use too. I have ordered it. I am not a shopper. I do not like to go shopping to go get my stuff. So I just order it off of Amazon because that's just me. I don't enjoy shopping. That's just not something that I enjoy doing. So I ordered it off Amazon and it's not here yet. It's not been here. I don't know if they had a backstock. Anyway, from what I understand, it should be here this evening or tomorrow. But I generally do use a under eye primer as well, and it is the same brand as my face primer, which is this stuff right here. Jelly Grip from Essence. I actually really enjoy this stuff. I don't use it on a Sunday when I use my good makeup, but I use this stuff every single day and I really enjoy it. It's very affordable. They've got some really good stuff in this brand, so I really enjoy this stuff. So if you are interested in some of that stuff, you can go check it out on Amazon. It's called Essence. But my under eye primer, it looks literally a lot like this, except for it's a roll-on stick like this. But I use it for everything. So I'll be a little bit more forthcoming about what I'm actually using since you guys are actually interested in that. But let's go ahead and get started with a word of prayer, and just please don't mind me because I don't feel great. I'm like peeling on my nose because it just all the things. I have not had an upper respiratory infection in so long, or a cold or anything like that in a very long time, which is amazing because I don't have, my medication makes me have no immune system. So the fact that I haven't had one is amazing, but having one is not fun. I am just like, ugh, just not enjoying it. So I've been just trying to take it easy. But we're going to go ahead and get started with a word of prayer. Lord, thank you for bringing us here again today, Lord. Thank you that you care about every part of us, even the thoughts that we that no one ever sees, Lord. you know how busy our minds can be, Lord. You know the thoughts that come in uninvited, Lord. The ones that try to discourage us. They distract us and they weigh us down. And Lord, today I ask you to slow our thoughts down, quiet the noise, help us to recognize what's from you and what isn't. Lord, teach us how to take our thoughts captive, but with your help and your truth. Give us discernment, Lord, to not just accept every thought that comes our way, Lord, but to pause, to question, and to align ourselves with what you say. And as we spend time together, Lord, let something shift, not just emotionally, but in the way that we think moving forward. We give you our minds, our thoughts, and our attention, Lord. In your name we pray. Amen. All right. So, get ready with me. If you've been following along for the last 3 weeks or past 2 weeks, we've talked about the way we speak to ourselves and what we've been agreeing with, right? And both of those matter because we realize that the way that we speak to ourselves and what we agree with internally will shape how we see ourselves, how we respond to things, and how we move forward in our life. But today I want to take that just a little step further, because it's one thing to recognize the thought, it's another thing completely to actually know what to do when it shows up. And I think this is where a lot of us we feel overwhelmed, because if we're being honest, our minds don't always slow down, right? The thoughts don't always come one at a time in calm, clear way. They come all at once, and they can, you can be fine 1 minute and then a thought pops into your head and suddenly you're overthinking anything. You're questioning yourself, you're replaying conversations, you're assuming the worst, and feeling discouraged or insecure or just heavy. And nothing around you may have changed, but it all started with a thought. And that's the hard part. Those thoughts don't always feel like something we can control. They oftentimes they feel automatic. They feel familiar. Some of them have been there for a long time, and they don't stand out anymore. They just feel like you, right? Okay. So these ladies, I'm gonna be pausing in and out because obviously I can't do this and this at the same time. But these are little wipes, little makeup wipes that I got off of Amazon. They're reusable. You can throw them in the washer. I have like a little, it comes with this, and I have like some that are a little bit bigger and square that I use just to wash my face. I don't wash my face with the same thing that everybody else uses for everything else. It just, to me, is gross. And I like a softer rag, like a microfiber rag on my face. I don't like having like that rough, I just don't like it. Anyway, but I got these off of Amazon. I use them. I just got these in, actually, because I use them with my micellar water and my toner, and I love it. It's been working out so great instead of just using my hands. So for those of you who don't know, I always start in the morning times. I don't actually use cleanser and water to wash my face. I do that at night, every single night. Don't miss my cleanser. But in the morning, I have just washed my face the previous night, and I've done nothing. So I do go in though with micellar water, and I love this stuff. I have 2 different ones. I use one for night and one for morning, and they're just 2 different ones. So in the morning time, I use the one with vitamin C. It's an all-in-one brightening. Honestly, these are the best makeup removers, but they get everything, oil, everything. So I use these day and night. And they're really great for if you're like me. I have very sensitive skin. I'm a very pale girl. I'm a very pale girl. I don't tan. I just, I don't. So I, I have very, very sensitive skin, and this stuff is not harsh on my skin. It works really well, and it takes my makeup off very easily. So I just really, really love this stuff, and I really haven't found anything I like as much as it when it comes to makeup removers and cleansing and, getting all of the grossness that you feel when you wash your face. And the great thing about this stuff is you don't rinse it off. So I use one of these, and then I put them in my little, I have a laundry bag, and I put all of these in here. And then I also use one for for my toner. So I always start with the micellar water, and then I move on to my toner, which is I love the Thayer's Milky Toner. It makes my face feel glassy. It's smooth. It just, I don't know, it feels like it puts life into my face, if that makes sense. It has hyaluronic acid in it. I love anything that has hyaluronic acid in it, but this stuff is pretty great. It's a little thicker, and it goes on. It's very moisturizing, so I feel like I have combination skin, but certain areas like around here, around my nose, just certain areas of dryness on my face. So this really does help keep that from drying out. And I love it. Trying to be a little bit better about telling you what I'm doing. And then, okay, my serums, I use this stuff from The Ordinary. I like this brand called The Ordinary. And no, ladies, I love these brands. Ordinary, I use a lot of their serums. This one I use every day. It's a caffeine serum, and it's really meant for under your eyes, but I do use it all over my face, but especially pay extra attention under my eyes. I get, if I'm not careful, I get really really dark circles, and I'll get bags under my eyes really bad. So I have to be very, very careful, and so I always really like to pay special attention to my eyes. So I put extra things on my eyes. My great grandmother was like that. She had crow's feet, and she had but she would have like really big bags under her eyes. My mom has that too, but my mom uses some really good stuff too. But she's also older, but it really works for her. I mean, because they get back, but mine are not quite there yet, but they're starting to get bigger. So I just really very careful about that. And then I love niacinamide. I always use the niacinamide. Also makes my skin feel very moisturized and dewy. That's kind of the goal now, right? To have dewy skin. We used to want to have nothing dewy looking about our skin, and now it's all dewy looking. I want a dewy looking skin. But back when I was growing up, that was called greasy. It is different from greasy, I realize, but it just makes me laugh sometimes when I think of where we were back then, and then now how different things are. I always try to move upward, and always get your neck, ladies. Always put your product on your neck. All right, and then the big stuff that I use. This is from L'Oreal, but this is collagen. I use collagen for everything. collagen in the morning, retinol at night. That's just, if you're over 40 and you don't have collagen and retinol in your routine, get it, because our skin absolutely 100% needs it. But I use collagen in my skin. It's not expensive. I think this is like $9. And if you watch for sale, oftentimes you can get them on sale. I think I actually got that one on sale for like $3. It just depends. It depends on how much you use too. I go through them pretty fast. Like they don't last me like 6 months. Some people can have things and they last them like 6 months. My stuff does not last me that long. I go through it. I go through skincare like nobody's business. And this is from Wet n Wild, which I like Wet n Wild too. They have just certain things of theirs that I really like. But this is their this has caffeine in it and vitamin E and green tea oil and hyaluronic acid, and I always use this. I go through 6 of these too. I use this under my eye and it really does help. I use this morning and night, and I love this stuff. It also is very cooling on my eye. So I love it. I lather that on. Lather it. Anyway. And then we always use moisturizer, guys. I use a moisturizer that has, this is a vitamin C illuminating body lotion. It's a moisturizer. I don't remember where I got this from. I have no idea. No idea where I got it from, but it also has a sunscreen in it. I like to always use a sunscreen. I'm very sensitive to the sun, so I mean, you should always wear a sunscreen anyway, but I always wear a sunscreen. But I like to get things that have sunscreen in them. That has sunscreen in them. I do wear sunscreen too, but I have not been going outside much, so I haven't really been putting it on, which I usually do anyway, but I've been bad about the sunscreen lately. I really have. But I do generally wear it every day. I mean, I live in Florida. Okay. So, anyway. Sorry. So, anyway, So, they started with a thought. Something that it feels automatic, something that doesn't always feel like something we can control. They feel automatic. They feel familiar. They've been there for so long that they don't even stand out anymore because they just sound like you, right? And because they sound like you, we don't question them. You don't stop and ask, hey, where did this come from? You don't slow down and ask, is this actually true? Did God bring this to me? Is this something that God is saying, hey, this is truth, We just accept it. We feel the weight of it. The anxiety, the insecurity, the discouragement, and you think the issue is what you're feeling, when really the root is what you believed. Because what you believe will always shape how you feel. No matter what we think. We love to go by our feelings. I say it all the time, but the truth is it is more to do what we believe about ourselves is what it's going to shape how we feel. I'm going in now with my Essence Get a Grip. I'm almost out of this stuff, and I thankfully have another bottle. This is my primer. I hear my dogs. being crazy. Um, I promise y'all, I cannot ever get through one of these without these crazy dogs barking. Not once. But anyway, um, what it is I've got neighbors next door and their dogs are out. um, I got these new little brushes that I'm going to use today. I got them, they're little cute little travel brushes, but I'm getting ready to go to my sister's to visit, and I'm going to be there for like a month, and I just, I want to pack light because I'm going to be there for a while, so I've got, enough to take. So I just wanted a little set that I can, and I wanted a little set anyway, one that I could just throw in my purse. So I'm like, I'm going to try this. And actually, these brushes feel really nice, kind of like the set that I have. So I'm really anxious to try it out and see exactly how good it is. We will see how it works. I don't know. We will see. Anyway, we just we end up just accepting it, right? And then we feel the weight of it, the anxiety, the insecurity, the discouragement. And you think the issue is what you're feeling, when really the root is what you believe, because what we believe always shapes how we feel. Sorry, y'all. I'm trying to figure out what brush I'm going to use. All right. So this right here is my, that's what I use for foundation, for every day. This is the Wet n Wild Bare Focus Tinted Hydrator. It's like a tinted moisturizer. It has hyaluronic acid and squalene, whatever, however you want to pronounce that. It looks like this. It's not very expensive, and I love it. It's really inexpensive, and sorry, I have a very bad habit of overdoing how much I put on, but a little goes a long way. It's full coverage. It's buildable, but it's also not like, it's not heavy. And, for an everyday makeup, I don't want anything that's really heavy. Just not how I like to walk around feeling like I'm in a full face of makeup, even if I am. Like Sundays, that's a different story. I don't mind that. Even though the one I wear right now is pretty light. And I did forget my beauty blender, so I'm just going to use my hands, which I think I've been doing for the last couple times. But anyway, so we think that the issue is how we're feeling, but it's really about what we believe, because what we believe will always shape how we feel. And what we feel will eventually, it eventually shapes how we respond. So if the thought isn't right, everything that follows won't be right either. And I think a lot of us have been living like our thoughts are just facts. And anybody else like that? Like you just think something and it's just, you live like that is the absolute fact. And it's not. Like if it shows up in our mind, it must be true, right? Or at least true enough to hold on to, right? So we build onto it. We replay it. We sit in it. We let it grow. And before we even realize what's happening, one thought turns into a mindset. And that mindset starts shaping how we see everything. But today I want to challenge that at the very root, because this right here, if you don't really grab hold of it, will change everything. You don't have to believe every thought that you think, ladies. We really don't. We don't have to believe every thought that we think. I use this. I have used this powder for a very long time. I want to say, oh man, I want to say since I was a teenager. I've used this for a very, very long time. Ew. I clearly had it in my purse. But I use this one quite a lot. So, if you know me, I like to set my face, but I don't get my my wrinkles under my eye, because we definitely don't want to set our wrinkles and everything to settle into your wrinkles. And if you're over 40, you most likely have some wrinkles somewhere, if you're like me. Okay. I'm not hating these new little brushes. They're it's hard to find like little travel brushes that are small but thick enough that you can use and have a good fluffy, I like a fluffy brush. So I'm kind of loving these. These are good for travel. I just wanted to try them out and see how they worked. Also, my fan is blowing, so it's blowing all this powder all over me. I know I always look like a crazy person when I do this, but you know what? It's how I work. It just works for me. All right. And then I do my eyes. We know I like to do my eyes, and it's really hard for me to do my eyes on this thing. But we're going to do my eyes. But what I want to say is that just because it feels real, just because it showed up doesn't mean it belongs. And just because it feels real doesn't mean it's true. And just because it's familiar, it doesn't mean you have to keep agreeing with it. And I think some of you, this is the first time maybe that you're realizing that you actually have a choice here. So, because you do. You have a choice. You absolutely have a choice. So, I do my eyebrows now. But, eyebrows are always just, I am not great at eyebrows. I'm just going to tell you that right now. I'm going to tell you that right now. But that's okay. And this is my eyebrow pencil. And I got it from, it's called La Mercier or something like that. Honestly, I got it from the Dollar Tree. And I love it. It's literally like I mean, I don't generally get my makeup from the Dollar Tree. But I did. I have a certain girl I watch on TikTok. I watch her. She does hair. And I watch her videos all the time. And she's got like amazing eyebrows. And she did a video one time where everybody was asking about what she uses, and this is what she uses, and she was like, I get it from the Dollar Tree, and I went out and got me one, and I absolutely love it. So, if you want a good eyebrow pencil, ladies, go to the Dollar Tree, because this one is probably better than anyone I've ever used, and so that's where I get my eyebrow pencil from. And it's mechanical. I don't like anything that I have to sharpen. If I have to sharpen it, I'm not going to buy it. Honestly, I'm not going to buy it. I just am not. But I love this thing. I couldn't even find my color in it. I could only find deep brown. But I just use it lightly, and it actually works pretty well. It's not as dark as what I expected it to be when I had first gotten it. but I do try to get my actual color in it. But I love this thing. It works so well. And I a little bit to add me some brow right there. A line. I don't know about you ladies, but I am from the era back when we plucked our eyebrows, and I plucked the crap out of my eyebrows. So, you know, it took a while for me to get them even to what they are now, and they're not great. I am just not great at eyebrows. And I used to just not do them. And my sister was fine, like, if you don't start doing your eyebrows, I'm going to go crazy. So for her sake, I started doing my eyebrows. But anyway, so I'm going to do my other eyebrow, and then I'm going to come back and we'll get back into this. Okay, I got my eyebrows done. A little darker than I like, but it is what it is. Listen, we can't be picky all the time. We just cannot. There it is. I love these stick eyeshadows. They're cream eyeshadows, but on Sundays, this is my little makeup bag I take and put in my purse, and on Sundays I have a darker shade that I use on Sundays. Just kind of, my makeup's always a little darker on Sundays. So I use that one, but I have a lighter shade that I like to use, a light pink, that I like to use for every day. And I like to go up above my eyebrow bone, almost all the way up, because it opens up. If you notice, I have very small eyes, and it kind of opens my eyes up a little more. Thank you, Dad, for my small eyes. My sister got my mom's big, gorgeous eyes, and me and my brother got my dad's squinty little eyes, which is nothing wrong with that, but, and sometimes you gotta make do when you're putting on makeup. Works really well for a man. They got beautiful eyes, but for me, it's kind of a little rough sometimes because I have my dad's eyes, but I got my mom's hooded, my hooded lids. My sister tried to do my makeup one time, and she said, "What happened to the elasticity in your skin? It's gone. I'm 43 years old. It's gone." But anyway, I go right over that eyebrow bone. Anyway. Yeah, that's my dark. No, that's my light color. Anyway, and then I put a lighter color over that. And then I will blend. And put a little bit of, you kind of want it to not be too bright, and then blend it into you just gotta blend. You gotta blend. Do all the blending. All right. Anyway, and then I obviously have eyeliner. I have I don't use black eyeliner because, first of all, I'm 43 years old, and brown just is a little bit softer. And second of all, I have, like I said, hooded lids, and I don't care if what kind of eyeliner it is, how good it is. I think I just got some on my nose. Anyway, I will get it all over my eyelids. It will transfer every single time. So I just get a really soft brown, and it works well for me. That's what I like. Um, anyway, that's what I like. So I'm gonna do my eyeliner, and then I'll be back, and we will continue our lesson. Anyway, so let's really slow down for a minute on this, because this is it's not just about having better thoughts. This is about understanding what's actually happening in your mind. Scripture tells us to take every thought captive, and make it obedient to Christ. That means not every thought that shows up in your mind is meant to stay there. They shouldn't be living rent free. And it also means that you're not powerless here. Um, a lot of us we've been living like we live like we're powerless. We just do. Like we have no choice in the matter. A thought comes in, and instead of examining it, we entertain it. We follow it. We let it lead us into feelings, and then those feelings lead us into reactions. And before we even realize what's happening, we're discouraged. We're anxious. We are insecure. All because of something that we never stopped to question. Ever. And I'm going in now with my my Essence. This is called, well, I'm just going to show you. What the Fake mascara. I love this stuff because it makes my lashes really long. It's really good. And on Sundays, there's a primer, and I always use the primer, but I just don't use it during the week. But I really love this mascara. It's very, very good mascara. It's very, very inexpensive mascara. So, it's one of my favorites. But anyway, just because a thought feels strong doesn't mean it's true. Feelings can simply, they can actually amplify a thought, but they don't validate it. Sorry, ladies. It's hard to do eyeliner. It's hard to do anything with your eyes and talk at the same time. I don't know if any of you are like me, or I just want to I know I always do 2 coats. Can't see it. The lighting today is just really bad in my house. I'm so sorry. But if you could see that, I'm just telling you, it's pretty good stuff. Anyway, all right, I have my eyeliner done. My dog is demanding my attention right now. I finished my mascara. I get to wipe all this powder off my face. And like I said, normally at this point, really before the powder, I would do a little concealer right here in this corner, and then a little right here in this corner, and blend, but not settling into any wrinkles. Um, but anyway. Um, so just because a thought feels strong, and let's just be honest, they feel strong, often feel strong. Um, just because a thought feels strong, just because a thought feels strong doesn't mean it's true. Feelings can amplify a thought, but they don't validate it, and they don't. And if you don't learn to separate those two things, you're going to live at the mercy of whatever your mind throws at you, and that's exhausting. I don't know about you, but that is truly, truly exhausting. It's an exhausting place to be. Some of you are mentally tired, right? Not because your life is overwhelming, but because your thoughts never slow down long enough for you to just challenge them. You just keep receiving them. You keep receiving them, and over time, you repeatedly receive. You start to believe, and what you believe, you start to live out, and that's why this matters so much. Oh, and I'm sorry, I did miss this part. This is Wet n Wild. This is a dual-ended contour stick. Um, so this is the, like the bronzer side, the dark side. This is the side I just used to contour my face. And the other side is the highlighter. And so I am just, you try to do little parts to make it feel a little bit, a little snatched. I will say these little brushes are nice. This little contour brush is nice. Nice and fluffy and blending very well. It's always a plus when it's blending well the way you want it to blend. This is the important part right here. Anyway, if the enemy can't stop you, he's going to try to speak to you. And if he can get you to agree with something that isn't true, he doesn't have to do anything else. And that's just the truth. If you're going to agree to something that is not true, you've basically done the work for him already. You're going to limit yourself. You're going to doubt yourself. You're going to hold yourself back, all because a thought was never meant to all because of a thought that was never meant to define you. But here's the shift that I want you to catch, ladies. A thought is an invitation. It is not a command. It's an invitation to agree or an opportunity to reject. And you have to start seeing it that way. It's really hard to do sometimes, I know, especially when it's something that you have just been telling yourself for so long that that's just how it is. That's the truth. right now some of you are treating every single thought like it has authority. And when the reality is just presenting itself to you. And you ladies, you get to decide, do I accept this? Do I build on this? Do I let this shape how I see myself and how I respond? I mean, you get to decide that. Or do I take this thought and do I bring it back to truth? Because if it doesn't align with what God says, it doesn't deserve your agreement. And I know that sounds simple. I do. Trust me. I really, I understand. I understand that it sounds so simple. Too good to be true, right? Just too good to be true. But, all right, ladies. This is also, I do like the brand Essence, if you haven't told, for just an everyday brand. But this is a little blush stick called Baby Got Blush. This is the color Tickle Me Pink. I like pinks. But I just like these little, and they're so easy, little creams. And you want to go upwards. Especially at our age, you don't want anything looking like it's sagging. You want to go upwards. And I will just tell you, I love the smell of this stuff. It smells like watermelon. I love the smell of it. It reminds me of when I was a kid and I used to get those lip smackers. They smelled so good. So good to the point that my mom would be like, don't eat those. No, I didn't. Well, I mean, I probably did actually when I was younger. But no, I did love lip smackers. But anyway, what I was saying was it's not always easy at first. Some of these thoughts, they have been with you for years, right? A long time. They're familiar. They've become automatic. And automatic doesn't mean permanent. Familiar doesn't mean true. You can retrain your mind. You can learn to pause. You can learn to recognize what doesn't belong. And you can learn to respond differently. Not overnight. Things don't happen overnight. And I know you're like, oh, that's easier said than done, Jamie. But I've been here. It doesn't happen overnight, no. But consistently, yes. If you're consistent with it, it does. And that consistency is what begins to create freedom, ladies. So what you do you actually do with this? This isn't about stopping your thoughts from coming, because we're not always going to be able to stop our thoughts from coming. We are human. We are human. And, you know, like I said, I can be confident a lot of the time. And every once in a while, a thought will come in my head. You know, I lost 133 pounds. So every once in a while, I'll get a thought that just, you know, hits me. And I'm like, man. And then I start redoing the old way of thinking. And it can really hurt me sometimes, you know. So it's a progress, you know. It's progress, you know. But it isn't you're not going to stop them from coming, but it's definitely about learning how to respond when they do. So I'm going to give you something simple that you can practice today, okay? Just a few steps. The first step is this. Notice the thought, okay? Notice the thought. Not every thought deserves your attention, but the ones that bring weight, you need to catch those. The moment you feel that shift, discouragement, insecurity, overthinking, pause. Don't rush past it. Don't automatically follow it. Just recognize it. Okay, that was a thought. That alone right there is a big step, ladies, because you're no longer just reacting to it. You're becoming aware. The second step is name it for what it is. Okay? Name it for what it is. Don't dress it up. Don't justify it. Call it out. This is fear. This is insecurity. This is not truth. Because when you name it, you separate yourself from it. It's no longer you. It's something trying to influence you. And the third thing I want you to look at is I want you to challenge it. Ask, does this align with what God says? Or does it contradict it? Because if it contradicts truth, it doesn't get to stay, ladies. And I think a lot of us skip this step. We feel something and we just accept it. But you have to learn to question what enters your mind. And then the fourth step, ladies, is replace it. Not with something that just sounds positive, okay? Affirmations are not going to cut it, ladies. But you need to replace it with something that's actually true. So if the thought says, I'm not enough, you replace it with, God is enough in me. If the thought is, nothing is changing, you replace it with, God is working even if I don't see it yet. And at first that might feel unnatural to you because your mind is used to going to the other direction. But this is how you're going to retrain your brain. Remember, we need to renew our minds. And here's what I want you to understand. This is not a one-time moment. So you do it one time and say, Jamie, that didn't work for me because this morning I woke up and that thought was right back there again. This is not a one-time thing. This is a practice. You might have to do this multiple times a day. Multiple times a day. But every time you pause, every time you challenge, every time you choose truth, you are weakening the old pattern. You are strengthening a new one. So today, keep it simple. Notice it, name it, challenge it, and replace it. And don't worry about doing it perfectly. Just start doing it consistently. Because over time, what you consistently agree with will shape how you think, how you feel, and how you live. So, as you go through your day, I don't want you to just leave this as something that you just heard. I heard this video and I heard Jamie say this and that was really, thought-provoking, but I'm just going to leave it right here. I want you to actually practice it. It's not about having a perfect mind, ladies. It's about learning how to respond differently. It's about, I think for some of you, this is going to be the first time that you realize I don't have to believe everything that crosses my mind. That thought doesn't get automatic access anymore. That voice doesn't get to speak unchecked anymore. You don't have to follow it. You don't have to build on it. You don't have to let it define how you feel or how you move forward. And I know at first this might feel unfamiliar because I'm speaking to the choir here, ladies. I struggle with this myself. You're used to just accepting what comes. You're used to letting thoughts run and then dealing with the weight afterwards. And I'm sorry, I know I'm sniffing and that's really gross, but my nose is all stuffed up. But now you're learning to pause, okay? You're learning to recognize what doesn't belong. You're learning to recognize what doesn't belong. You're learning to separate yourself. You're learning to separate yourself from it. And that alone is where freedom starts. Sorry. Always line your lips. If you got small little lips like me, you need liner. I'm just going to say that. You need liner. Because I like to go a little bit outside of the lines to try and make my lips look just a touch bigger than they actually are. And this is, I use Wet n Wild gel liners too. I love, I love those. Um, and then I have been getting into the lip tints and the lip stains. So they kind of stay on your lip a little longer. It looks a little more natural. Lip tint, this is Essence Hydra Kiss Lip Tint in the color Poppy Pink. Like I told you, I like pinks. Pinks just work for me for some reason. And I have like 3 lip stains that I haven't used yet. And I'll have to try those maybe tomorrow. And then I always go in with Essence. And this is What the Fake Glass Shine Plumping Lip Filler. Just kind of makes your, it does tingle your lips a little bit, but it kind of plumps your lips up just a little bit. Not, it really isn't anything dramatic, but it does make them a little bit plumper. And I, like I said, I have little lips. I got little lips that I inherited from my mama. So I like to use the lip plumper. And I'm not gonna lie. I get migraines really bad, and so I get Botox for my migraines. They do Botox up here, you know, it's kind of in my back, my shoulders. They do it all over, and then she always has a little bit left over. And what she'll do is she does for my TMJ, and then she has a little extra, so she'll do my crow's feet. And I'm like, yeah. She's like, it'll go to waste anyway. I'm like, yes, do it. So I get my crow's feet done. So, but anyway, it really isn't like a lot that I do, ladies, but sometimes it just takes me a long time because I'm talking and doing a bunch of other things. I'm going to just say, I like these little brushes though. And then I like to go in with, this is one I don't generally use, but I ran out, and so I tried when I went and got mine from my eyebrow pencil from the Dollar Tree. I got the same brand of Dewy Finish setting spray, and it works pretty decently, you know. I really like the Jelly Grip, the setting spray, but also I'm out of that. So I like to run out of things all at the same time. So, and then I have to gradually get them again. But always set your face, ladies. Always set your face. But anyway, so all of that to say, you know, some of you have been carrying things in your mind that was never meant to stay there. There are thoughts that you have been shaping how you see yourself, how you show up, how you respond, and you don't even realize that you had the ability to challenge them, but you do. Not perfectly, not all at once, but consistently. And every time you choose truth over what feels familiar, you are creating a new pattern, a healthier one, a freer one. And I want you to understand this, ladies. I want you to understand this. Just because a thought shows up again doesn't mean you failed, okay? It just means that you have another opportunity to respond differently. So don't get discouraged. Don't go back to believing that you're stuck in the same cycle. You're not stuck. You're being trained. Sorry. You're being trained. Training takes repetition, okay? Give yourself grace in the process, but don't go back to giving it authority to something that was never meant to lead you. And if you've been feeling overwhelmed in your mind, ladies, I want you to leave today knowing this: you have authority here. And the more you practice this, the more peace you're going to start to experience, not all at once, but steadily. And that steady change is what lasts. So today, this evening now, pay attention to what you're agreeing with, okay? Slow down enough to challenge what doesn't belong, and remind yourself, just because I thought it doesn't mean I have to believe it. And if this helped you at all, stay with me in this series. 2 more, okay? 2 more. Because we're going to keep walking this out together, you and me. Honestly, simply, and in a way that actually helps us grow. But for today, guard your mind a little more carefully, because that's where real change begins. All right? Let's go ahead and close with a word of prayer. Lord, we thank you, Lord, for what you've been doing in our minds, Lord. Thank you that you're not thank you, Lord, that we are not at the mercy of every single thought that comes our way, Lord. And that you have given us the clarity to pause, Lord, to discern, to choose what we agree with, Lord. I pray for every woman watching this, Lord. You know the thoughts that she's been carrying, Lord, the ones that have felt heavy, constant, convincing, Lord, hurt. I ask that you would just begin to bring clarity. Help her to recognize, Lord, what's from you and what's not from you. Give her discernment, Lord, to catch the thought that doesn't align with your truth, Lord, and the courage not to agree with them. Teach her, Lord, how to take those thoughts captive, not in her own strength, Lord, but in your strength, the strength that you provide. Lord, where there's been noise, Lord, bring peace. Where there has been confusion, bring clarity. And where there has been heaviness, Lord, bring freedom. Renew her mind, not all at once, but step by step, in a way that is steady and lasting, Lord. And and as she practices this, Lord, I pray that she would begin to feel the shift, less overwhelmed, more grounded, Lord, more aware of your voice. Remind her, Lord, that she is not powerless here. She has authority through you. So help her to walk this out consistently, patiently, Lord, and with grace for herself along the way. We trust you with this process, Lord. In your precious and holy name we pray. Amen. Thank you, ladies, for joining me, and I will see you next week.